Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Random Thoughts. This episode, we're going to be covering a very odd topic, because it doesn't really have to do with any video games per se. It's more or less something that I've been kind of reflecting on for the past few days, and that's kind of school and like the things that happen in school. So let's start with that. So I know a lot of people, like pretty much everyone watching this, probably goes to school, more or less. But there's different forms of it. There's like private school, public school, and then like homeschool. And then some people even do a thing called like no school that I heard about, which is weird because it's school. But a lot of people say that a lot of the stuff you don't learn in school won't translate to the real world, and that's not necessarily true. Most of the subjects in the school you're not going to really need in everyday life. Some of them you are. It's mostly about social skills that you're going to probably need, that you probably should go to school for. And even then, it's a little touchy because some people get easily depressed and stressed out about school. And a lot of it comes from the sheer fact that that a lot of people think that this is pointless, and that a lot of people don't understand the value of school. I myself kind of understand certain values to certain classes. Like, I like physics. Physics is cool, but trigonometry kind of kicks my butt, so I'd hate that subject. So I can understand that there's like a different range of subjects. For me, the lowest form was probably trigonometry, or even lower than that is my spelling or handwriting, which is like disgusting. Um, but yeah, I would definitely say that this whole kind of thing is just this whole kind of school situation is just kind of weird in some respects, in other respects, whatever. But yeah, um, to be honest, I think that school is actually a good place to learn. Even though I'm kind of just like saying a lot of these people don't like school, I don't particularly enjoy school sometimes, but I think it's a good thing to just have, because it's mainly free until like 12th grade anyway, so you might as well just like think about going to school. But even then, the main things that are about school is that, like, oh well, you're gonna need to know all of this, and when you first learn, it's like, you're not gonna need to know everything. What about doing taxes? Oh, that's just math. And it's like, well, yeah, but you need to have a job. You need to know what taxes to pay, how much taxes you have. You need to do all this math and stuff. And it's like, yeah, no, that's a lot of math. And if you hate math, you're gonna have a hard time in society. But I will have to say there is a lot of classes that are like some of my favorites in school. Definitely one of my favorite classes would have to be game design and animation, which is a course that's offered in my school, and will probably, I'm pretty sure, should be offered in a lot of schools. Mainly because coding and technology have become such an integral part of culture now, that a lot of these jobs that were not available before have been created to like suit a lot of this stuff, like video game, like the stuff you learn in like your digital art class could translate over to web design and designing other things like that, being like a PR spokesman for whatever reason. Now, not to say that every single little thing you're going to learn in school is going to be important in your everyday life. Like, when am I going to need physics? When am I really going to need physics in life, other than trying to make physics work in video games? And that mainly is covered by most of the engines anyway. The engines just automatically run it. You just need to create the object or whatever and put in some parameters. And all of that stuff can be learned. And again, it just comes down to simple numbers and math. So I would just have to say math is mainly the center point of every single thing in the world, because math makes the world go around. Um, Pretty much, as well as like different languages and stuff. So yeah, learning a language. Oh man, that was so hard. I took like 3 or 4 years of a language. No, I took 3 years of a language. Yeah, I took 3 years of a language to try and get like my made to get try and get a better degree from high school, which I did, and I took off of wait, and I'm like, I don't remember anything that I really learned from that class, but like maybe one new word that I learned from that whole Spanish class, which probably will make my Spanish teacher frown a little bit because the retention is very difficult for me. I I really I can English good, so don't get worried about that. But sometimes I cannot English too good, so it's all a matter of perspective. So moving on, what's weird about school? Well, I will have to say that you do tend to make a lot of friends in school. Well, at least for me. So I'm gonna tell you some interesting school stories whilst I can, like really early on, some that I remember. Um, and I would have to say that the only true one that stands out for me, in like elementary school for me was joining Boy Scouts. This doesn't have to really do much with school, but it was at school where I actually learned about this whole Boy Scouting program, and it was just so much, like so many memories were made from that one simple event, and it was just amazing. I'm very very happy that I was able to get into such a program because not a lot of kids tend to go through that program. Like I've met a few other people who, like most other people, more or less don't go through that program, but a lot of really successful people were like Eagle Scouts. Like really successful people were Eagle Scouts. I'm pretty sure, uh, if I remember my history correctly, Neil Armstrong was an Eagle Scout when he landed on the moon. I think. I don't really remember. I'm pretty sure he went to the. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was either like someone on the someone on the moon. I just remember that an Eagle Scout helped land on the moon or something like that, and that was pretty cool. And I also read somewhere that there was an Eagle Scout that was vice president, which was one of the bigger jobs out there, which was pretty cool. Pretty cool. But I wasn't really inspired by anything. Well, I wasn't really inspired by anyone in particular. More of just the the sheer awe of what happened that night. So let me just paint you the picture really quickly. So we're going to school. It's parents' night. We got me, my mom, my dad, and my sibling. Uh, so we're going in, and like I'm really young. It's like first or second grade, and we're going in. Pretty sure it was second grade. I forgot. No, no, it was first grade. Yeah, first grade. So it was first grade, and we went in to the building, and the first thing I saw when I walked in, on my right hand side, was I saw like one of those fold out tables, a little banner, like cloth banner and it with like patchwork on it that said Pack 607. And it was so, and I looked on the table and I saw all these pictures and all this cool stuff on the table, and I'm like, I remember thinking that this was like really cool looking, and I really kind of wanted to look and participate into this. I think I turned to my mom at one point and asked if I could. And at first she was on the fence about it because of like money issues and stuff like that, but in the end, I didn't remember anything else from that night. We went through like the whole parenting program or whatever. But I do remember this one interest. I do remember when she said yes. We were in the we were in the we were in the cafeteria, and we were about to leave, and we were still discussing whether or not it was a good idea to put me through scouts. And one of the first things that she said, and when she said yes, I was like, yes. And that was like the whole thing kind of just like came afterwards. I remember bits and pieces of one of my first meetings where it was just me and two other kids. We were we were the three tigers, and two of us today have made Eagle Scout, myself and one of the other boys, and it's just really cool because we took a picture every year of us growing up, and it was just really cool. Like it's literally a timeline from tiger to wolf to bear to Weeblos ones, Weeblos twos, to Boy Scouts, and to today. And it was just the most amazing thing to see. And to look at how far I've come after looking down this whole trail that I've walked up, that I've climbed up, that I've basically looked back on everything. I'm very glad that I was in this, that I was in the both in this program as well as it really helped me in everyday life. And I know it said it was a title about school, but I kind of just wanted to talk about that because it's some of my favorite stuff. And again, it was pretty much from me just going to parents' night at school. So yeah, I would definitely say that school is a integral part of a lot of society in some ways because it really can define a certain person. But yeah, I'm gonna tell some funny, interesting school stories. I vomited in school in elementary school. Yeah, it just kind of happened. I was feeling really sick, and it was I think in the cafeteria or something like that. And I just remember walking out and then just vomiting all over the floor. It was disgusting. It was gross. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but it was pretty bad. Um, what else was there in middle school? I got into a couple fights in middle school. Not in middle school, in elementary school. I got into a couple fights with like a bully, and I remember I was also in band and I played the saxophone. I remember one kid. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was a little bit of a jerk. A little bit of a jerk. Um, I don't know why. I may never know why, but I was bullied by him to some degree, and it was like it wasn't too bad. But the worst thing that he ever did to me, the very worst thing that he did to me, and I remember this because I remember the teacher, Mr. M, um, pretty good teacher. He was like a boxer or something like that. But he was this was after whatever doesn't matter. But this was after we went to band and I was packed up my all my stuff. We were heading back to class and I remember I was either walking or running or something. I was going back to class and I just remember somehow getting tripped and falling over. And then I think, and I'm pretty sure he did it. The guy, I need to come up with a name for him. I want to call him Dew. Dew. Yeah, Dew. No, that's a no. Dang it, I had to cut that out. I'm gonna call him whatever. He's just a. I don't really remember, but I don't want to say his name. I'm just gonna call him T then. Fine. His name is T. So T basically tripped me and I fell in the hallway and I was kind of crying. And as I walked back to class, I was still kind of crying and still kind of upset. I walk into class and Mr. M there went and basically he went over to me and asked what was the problem. And I told him, oh, I was tripped in the hallway and I was kind of upset about it. And he it was really cool because he went over and he asked me who it was and I told him who it was. I told him it was T and he's like, okay. So he took me and we went out to his classroom where we told the teacher what happened and then we had him formally like apologize. And that's kind of when we figured out that it's best to just avoid him at most classes because he if you didn't really see him, he kind of you wouldn't really bother him. At least that's how it was with him. So yeah, that was pretty good. I didn't really see him for a long time. And when I met him later down the line towards high school, he really cleaned up his act. he really kind of is a bit of a nicer person, not really as mean, or at least not to my knowledge. He doesn't. I don't know personally, but I have to say that he's. I guess he's doing better. Don't really remember, but yeah. And that's all I really have to say about that. Um, but yeah, I definitely have to say that school is a very stressful place, especially for a lot of kids. It's a very stressful place, and hopefully, with this new summer coming up, people can look back on the good memories this year and maybe see how their failures could make them maybe see where they failed, where they could improve, and stuff like that. But I would definitely have to say um, I'm kind of scared for the future because after this year, I don't technically have a plan. It was just school, school, school for the longest time, and now I'm gonna go off to college, and after college, I don't know, but yeah. Um, I want to thank you guys so much for watching me ramble on about random stuff to do with the world's least popular subject. So thank you all for watching, and peace off.